Good mornings start here.
Good Morning Iowa. Weekdays at 5 on Local 5.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
It doesn't matter. Hold both your fingers in the air like this, okay? Just like that. And believe in yourself.
I believe. And we're supporting. Yeah! What's your message to kids who have been intimidated by skate parks?
My message isn't to those kids. My message to the locals. Welcome them in.
Yeah.
Don't let them be intimidated. You know, be a big brother, big sister to those kids just starting out.
I see that setup in front of you. Tell us about your business that you started together.
Denise is a farmer, I'm a bartender, and we started growing everything that we would need to put together these really beautiful drink mixers and garnishes.
We're talking about mindset and why what we tell ourselves is so powerful when it comes to our health.
Mindset's so important. Our beliefs become our reality.
I love that your show is both in Spanish and English, and you get the crowd involved in all your shows. It is a great weather night for Friday Night Football. Local 5 sports reporter Jake Brand is in Huxley with a preview of our game of the week. But first, Taylor, what exactly can football fans expect tonight?
Yeah, perfection is what they can expect.
Well, it's all we can talk about this week. Countdown to the Super Bowl this Sunday. Hy-Vee dietitian Ann Cundiff joins me now with how you can score big with some healthy options and then some not so healthy options.
Yes, it's all about balance, right?
I want to thank you.
Well, thank you.
For the years of going door to door, knocking on kids' doors, going to them, finding kids for opportunities. Tell our viewers about what you do and how it started.
It started with me volunteering and working with refugees, and I realized that we didn't have a clear path for success for young people.
Everybody knows you. It's the hair for me.
Yeah,
right?
kind of hard to miss, I know.
Yeah.
I blend right in, I do it
Oh,
intentionally.
you're just a wallflower.
A wallflower.
Yeah.
That's what they describe me
I'm going to say between the two of us, we have all the patterns.
I usually
going
bring
right
it with me,
now.
but yeah, you're joining me in it.
Right? Okay.
It's
well,
cool, Damien.
yeah.
We got you
Yeah,
covered.
listen, I've got the blue covered today, I think.
Oh, having been bullied growing up and to kind of serendipitously be in a position that you make kids feel seen in something that's a past wound for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously therapeutic.
Life has a way of working out for you when you shine as your true self.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to be a visual representation that you can just do you, be you, and you're gonna get through and you're gonna find your people that love you.
Small Business Week is happening right now. We are lucky to have Zach Collier here, owner and chef of Cajun Belle in Johnston. Okay, so it smells so good.
Yeah.
You can't smell it through your TV, unfortunately, but everybody in the studio is just like drooling over this. Welcome.
Hattie.
Congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
one-year achievement, too.
Thank you.
Not forgetting about the past, but
Yes.
not letting it define you.
Yes, preserving it, honoring it, but also being willing to do what's necessary to move forward.
How do you see it connecting with people today, the state that our country is in today?
Yes, within the play, you're going to see issues that were present then and that are very present now.
There's a skeleton behind you that doesn't look too friendly, so I don't get too comfortable if I was you. Well, today starts Hispanic Heritage Month in the United States. For many countries in Central and South America, the month signifies independence. Now, that is true for these countries here who celebrate their independence today. Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Days tomorrow and Sunday, respectively.
All right, everyone, let's head back out live to the Iowa State Fair, joined by Samantha Mesa. She's going to share a little bit about her family's roots at the Iowa State Fair. Samantha, I had no idea that any of this happened. Oh my gosh, tell us all about it.
I know, it's crazy, right? Okay, so rounding out this last day of the Iowa State Fair, I wanted to share some family connection with you. So while this fair is my second fair experiencing all the great things about Iowa, when I moved here last year, you knew this is crazy. I learned my great-grandparents met here in Iowa, and I've shared with y'all, I come from a mixed family, Mexican, Irish, and French. The Irish and French side. Roy and Lolita Coates, great-grandparents, met here and started part of my family in Oskaloosa, Iowa. This experience here at the fair has further shown me that our communities are diverse and surprising in how we are more connected than we could imagine. So I close out today sharing a little bit about my family history and thanking all of you at home for accepting me into your homes. I am trusting your word. Okay. Sources can confirm it is very good.
And you did just try the alligator.
Former President Donald Trump is set to hold a rally in Iowa ahead of the midterms. A new poll shows a majority of voters disapprove of the former commander-in-chief. 52% of Iowans who responded to this poll say their views on Trump are very or mostly unfavorable. President Joe Biden announcing his re-election campaign for president for 2024 just this morning. The announcement comes 4 years to the day after he announced a run for the White House for 2020. Now, Biden, who's already the oldest American president, would be 86 years old if he were to win and serve a second term in the Oval Office. Biden would join 2 other Democrats who've announced bids to challenge him. If you used TurboTax to file your federal taxes for 2016, 17, and 18, you might be getting a check in the mail. It's part of a $141 million cash settlement after TurboTax owner Intuit tricked more than 4 million people into paying for free tax services. Within 2 years after the January 6th Capitol attack, the Department of Justice winning a rare seditious conspiracy conviction for members of the far-right group, the Proud Boys. Now, the government arguing Proud Boys members Ethan Nordine, Joseph Biggs, Zachary Rell, and ex-leader Enrique Tarrio, quote, saw themselves as Donald Trump's army, thirsting for violence and organizing for action. Turning now to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, you're taking a live look this morning at Maidan Square in Kyiv. It is a somber time in Ukraine. This is the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of that country. And this morning, the world is marking 1 year. From New York to parts of Europe to Australia, people gathering in support of the war-torn country. Turning to local 5 politics, Election Day is less than 5 weeks away, and 2 key debates took place yesterday to secure Iowa voters on key issues. One being the key race for the 3rd congressional district between Democratic incumbent Representative Cindy Axne and Republican State Senator Zach Nunn. We're hearing from Congresswoman Ashley Hinson for the first time since being released from the hospital. On a press call today, she made it clear debt relief for farmers and debt relief for students are different. With just 3 days until the midterm elections, Democrats bringing out the heavy hitters. President Biden in Illinois before traveling to Philadelphia for a rally where he'll be joined by former President Barack Obama. Former President Donald Trump will also be in Philadelphia at a rally for Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz. Here's ABC's Mary Alice Parks with the details. In just a few hours, Republican South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is coming to Des Moines on his Faith in America tour. Now, Scott is among a number of Republican politicians visiting the state ahead of next year's election. The House Select Committee using taped testimony from 10 of former President Donald Trump's closest advisors. They presented findings that Trump knew he'd lost the election, but continued peddling claims that it was stolen from him. Now, allegations of voter fraud, the committee says, emboldened Trump's supporters to attack the Capitol on January 6th. One of the biggest speeches of his presidency set to be delivered before a joint session of Congress tonight. It comes amid a standoff with Republicans over raising the nation's debt ceiling. And as polls show, a majority of Americans do not approve of the job he's doing as president. We are following breaking news this morning on Des Moines' south side of an active scene early in the morning. This is near Southeast 3rd and McKinley Avenue. We have been following this. We are waiting to hear back from police on exactly what happened. We've reached out to the Des Moines police early in the hours for any information on what's behind the active scene in that neighborhood.
We have more team coverage with meteorologist Brad Edwards and Taylor Canoost in the studio. But first, let's check in with Samantha Mesa live in Jefferson tonight, where there is plenty of damage. Samantha.
Here at the Johns family home in Jefferson, everywhere you look, you see the destruction that this tornado left behind. You hear that generator in the background. That is the only thing keeping this family powered. You see trees just trapped, snapped, crushing debris against the home. And this is the crew. This is what's helping the family get through now. This is family and friends, really the only support system at this point. The home they live in has no power right now. It could be up to 2 weeks before they get power restored. I'm told several of those asylum seekers have been sent to their respective destinations, several going to families in cities across the nation. Lawyers and advocates tell CBS 4 27 people, including children, were processed across the border fairly smoothly today without any major issues. Now the question is, what is going to happen tomorrow?
I'm standing along this soggy shoreline. This is where mosquitoes are laying their eggs, an area that kids usually play.
You can hear the traffic is moving quick. It's this time of the day. Tow trucks, they're getting a lot of calls from people that need help, from flat tires to breakdowns. Critical time to pay attention to anyone working on the road. For truck driver Troy Capone, his truck was smashed when a driver failed to move over.
Local 5 anchor Samantha Mesa spoke with a family who lost their son to an overdose. They hope to help others survive addiction and find recovery in healing.
He had a full-time job, had a brand new car, had a girlfriend he was actually going to propose to that summer, and had been with her for almost 3 years at that point. So he wasn't a typical junkie on the streets.
Jordan Prophet was 21, on the cusp of creating his own life.
He was clean 2.5 years.
His parents say they almost lost him when he'd shot up years before.
We all rushed up to Methodist Hospital, of course, and when he came to, he just cried, sobbing, "Mom, I'm so sorry. I promise you, I promise I will never do this again."
But they did go through it again. One last time. His father found him unconscious in their basement after a fentanyl overdose. His other son, frantic.
Came rushing back upstairs, my other son, and said, "Dad, I can't do this anymore, he's down." Immediately rushing downstairs and seeing his lifeless body, and just immediately my protective instincts was get to him. He was face down, and when I turned him over, as sad as this may be, I already knew he was gone. I tried to revive him. He, like I said, there was at one point that I thought he was grasping for air, and I stopped and I leaned down to hear it, and nothing. It was nothing, and kept on going until the paramedics got there. They announced him dead at our home.
Jordan was turning to drugs, numbing the stresses and pains of life, a path specialists say many experience. And today his parents' hearts are heavy. Looking back, they recall he was going through a lot of loss during that time, and drugs became a form of self-medicating.
Jordan and his friends started off of marijuana, and it went to pill prescriptions, and it just went to what's going to be the next high.
Before his deadly overdose, he was sober almost 3 years. The turning point, losing his best friend in 2016.
He was the first one of the group of friends to go. And we should have, and I regret this, we should have kept a closer eye on him. I just had blinders on.
His mother, Diane Prophet, says that loss of friendship wore down Jordan's spirit.
We knew he was going through a lot. He just didn't know how to process it. And he went back to what he knew would take away the pain, take away the memories for that little bit of time. And it took him that night. That night, the dose that he had, that heroin was laced with carfentanil, which is an elephant tranquilizer. He went right away. He wanted kids, he wanted a wife, he wanted everything out of this world.
Jeremiah Lindman also knows this pain. He lost his brother to overdose.
He was extremely charismatic and charming personality, would just light up the room, full of smiles.
After losing his brother, Lindman then heard from a mother who lost her son to drugs. She wanted to celebrate their loved ones' lives, so he launched a map that tracks overdoses nationwide in the hope to prevent more lives from being lost.
There's still so much stigma of us, what a druggie is or what a junkie is.
His goal for the map is to break the stigma and to show who people were before spiraling into addiction. Lindman believes pain medication can become a crutch dealing with life stressors for anyone. As stigma further buries this hidden disease.
the stigma has kept people from going out to treatment is an issue. Treatment does work and recovery works, and showing compassion, to help people get there, I think will go a ways.
Now, he understands there is no quick fix.
I don't have all the answers. I don't think anyone does, unfortunately, right now. I think we're still working very reactive. Pain can be defined so many different ways. Pain for other people is a lot of the mental issues and stuff that are going on in our society. And I think that's you have COVID and all sorts of issues that have been going on the last couple of years. It's just it's a bad mix right now.
Jordan's father agrees and believes the pandemic is making mental health challenges worse.
Because I feel that with the pandemic and just everything that came with it, losing human interaction, not being able to do the things that they were used to, they're leaning towards that gateway, that way to soothe themselves. And I feel that just with the stresses of it, workplace, everything happening with our lives right now, they don't know how to process pain like that. And what better way than to shoot up and forget about it for a while.
And Jordan's family and Lindman say this is not about a war on drugs. Rather, compassion is key.
Just be there for them. You can't change them. They have to make that step. But be there and listen to them. Try to reach out and get help for them.
And they want folks to understand addiction can happen to anyone, and to acknowledge if someone is using, compassion could save their life. Today, all Diane has of Jordan is memories and a locket with his ashes.
He left behind 3 siblings that are really struggling right now. I mean, they both went through graduations without their big brother, and so many milestones that their big brother is not going to be there for. Not to mention that I'm missing out on what my son would have been. He had a home life, he lived in Urbandale, but everybody needs to remember, this is everywhere. This is in Johnston, this is in West Des Moines, this is in Urbandale, this is in Waukee. This could be your neighbor 2 doors down that you don't know is going through this.